The Young and the Restless spoilers, Monday full episodes August 10. Welcome back to our channel everyone. Today is a beautiful sunny day to dive into the absolute madness that is Genoa City. We are so glad you're here joining us for another deep dive into our favorite daytime drama. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get right into the thick of it because we have a massive amount of drama to unpack today, and I am bursting with thoughts. I cannot believe they are doing this to Nick Newman. I am literally typing this at 2 in the morning because my brain will simply not shut off after seeing where this storyline is heading. Like, I am sitting here staring at my screen just completely dumbfounded. We all knew Nick was struggling. We all knew the fentanyl and the cocaine and the trauma from Matt Clark were pushing him to the absolute edge. But to actually see him fully relapse, to see him actively choose a seedy, disgusting motel room over the rehab facility that he voluntarily checked himself into, I am losing my mind over this. I have been watching this show since 2015, and I have seen Nick do some incredibly stupid things over the years, but this takes the cake, and it is not just a minor slip-up. No, this is a full-blown, catastrophic nosedive into the abyss. Because why on earth would he just walk out of rehab right when he needs it the most? I mean, I get it, addiction is a monster, and the writers are trying to show the gritty, ugly reality of it. But as a fan who has invested years into loving Nick Newman, this is pure torture to watch. He is literally choosing drugs over his family, over his own survival. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty era of the show, but personally, I am just heartbroken and frustrated beyond belief. But wait, I am getting ahead of myself here. Let us talk about the absolute sheer audacity of Noah Newman for a second. Am I the only one who is furiously angry at Noah right now? Nick is in rehab, fighting for his literal life, battling demons that have almost killed him multiple times this month. And what does Noah do? He packs up his bags, takes Sienna, and moves back to Los Angeles. I mean, seriously? You could not wait a few weeks? You could not stick around to support your father who is going through the darkest period of his entire existence? So of course, Nick uses Noah's sudden departure as the perfect excuse to justify his relapse. That is exactly how an addict's brain works, and the writers nailed that psychology, even if I absolutely hate watching it. Nick feels abandoned. He feels like he has failed his son, and instead of working through those feelings in therapy with professionals, he runs straight back to the drugs. He literally checks into a dingy, isolated motel room just so he can get high in peace. It is so incredibly depressing to witness. And let us talk about that motel room scene. The aesthetic was so dark and claustrophobic, you can literally feel the desperation oozing through the screen. Nick is sitting there, sweating, shaking, completely consumed by his craving. He calls his dealer. Remember when Sienna was the one selling him the pills? Well, now he is bypassing her and going straight to the source. He is looking at his stash, realizing he only has 4 packets left, and the panic sets in. It is visceral. You can see the exact moment the drug takes complete control of his soul. Because while all of this is happening, what is going on back at the ranch? Victor and Nikki are celebrating their reunion. They are planning a romantic trip to Venice and a vow renewal. The absolute irony of Victor and Nikki popping champagne and talking about their eternal love while their golden boy son is literally fading away in a roach-infested motel room is just staggering. It makes me so mad at Victor. Like, your son is dying, and you are planning a party? You are focusing on a vow renewal when your family is crumbling? It is classic Victor Newman blindness. Okay, back to the point. The nightmare sequence. We need to talk about that nightmare. I am still shivering just thinking about it. Nick falls asleep in that nasty motel bed, probably high out of his mind, and has the most terrifying, twisted hallucination we have seen on this show in years. And who is the tour guide through this hellscape? Matt freaking Clark. Of course it is. Matt has become the literal embodiment of Nick's trauma. He is the devil on his shoulder, and seeing him in this dream state was chilling. In the dream, Matt wakes Nick up and calls him Rich Boy, telling him he is finally free to be the real Nick Newman. And Nick tries to fight back, saying he is going to beat the addiction, but Matt just laughs right in his face. Sure, right after this next high. That line hits so hard. It is the eternal lie of the addict. Just one more time. And Matt knows it. The psychological warfare happening inside Nick's own brain is just brilliant television, even if it makes me want to throw my remote at the wall. But then the dream gets so much worse. Matt takes Nick to the shadow room, and who does he see? Sharon, unconscious on a table, overdosed, and Mariah is there, screaming at him, telling him that he did this, that he convinced Sharon to take the pills. I was literally holding my breath during this scene. The guilt Nick carries about Sharon is monumental, but then the writers hit us with the ultimate gut punch that I was not prepared for. Mariah looks at Nick, and when he says he tried, she says, "I am not Mariah. I am Cassie." I screamed. I literally screamed at my television screen. Bringing Cassie into this? Tapping into the deepest, most agonizing wound of Nick and Sharon's entire history. It was a masterstroke of absolute cruelty. Cassie asking him, "Who are you? What happened to you? Did my death mean nothing to you?" That is the kind of psychological horror that this show used to do so well back in the day, and seeing it return is just mind-blowing. Cassie's death is the root of so much of Nick's pain, and to see his drug-addled brain use her memory to torture him is devastating. And the nightmare does not stop there. Adam and Chelsea blaming him for Connor finding his stash and dying. Chelsea screaming that he ruins everything he touches. That is Nick's deepest fear. He is terrified of destroying his family. He is terrified of being the toxic one. For years, Adam was the black sheep, the one who ruined everything. Now, Nick is looking in the mirror and seeing Adam's reflection, or worse, Matt Clark's reflection. The guilt of potentially harming his nephew is eating him alive in this hallucination. Then the dream shifts again, and Nikki is drinking a double vodka and blaming Nick for pushing her off the wagon. Victor is calling him a disgrace. It was a relentless barrage of every single fear Nick has ever harbored. He feels like a massive disappointment to his parents. He feels like he is the reason their marriage has struggled, which is ridiculous because Victor and Nikki ruined their own marriage perfectly fine without his help. But in Nick's mind, he is the catalyst for all their pain. So he wakes up from this horrific, sweating nightmare, screaming and crying in that dark motel room. And then there is a knock at the door. I swear, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I thought it was going to be the dealer. I thought it was going to be Matt Clark in the flesh, somehow tracking him down again to finish the job. But no. He opens the door, and there is a woman standing there. Marie Kirkland. Let us pause right here, because I have opinions about this new character. Jade Harlow is debuting as Marie, and I am instantly suspicious. I mean, who just knocks on a stranger's motel room door in the middle of the night because they heard screaming? "Do you have anything you want to share?" she asks him. Like, what kind of opening line is that? It is so bizarre and intrusive, which immediately makes me think she is not just some random innocent bystander looking for a chat. I know some people are loving the idea of Nick getting a new love interest, but personally, I am terrified. Marie is looking for a fresh start, running from someone or something. She is at a seedy motel. You know what that means? She is probably an addict herself, or she is involved in some incredibly shady business. Putting an active addict who just walked out of rehab into a confined space with a mysterious, potentially troubled woman, it is a recipe for absolute disaster. Remember when they tried this trope before with other characters? Two broken people finding each other in the darkness. Yeah, it did not work then either. It always leads to codependency and mutual destruction. If Marie is using, she is going to drag Nick down so fast his head will spin. They will become each other's enablers. They will convince themselves that they are helping each other while they shoot up or pop pills together. It is the most toxic dynamic imaginable, and I am dreading watching Nick fall for it. But wait, my brain is going on a wild tangent here. What if Marie is connected to Matt Clark? Think about it. Matt is a master manipulator. He has been pulling strings all over Genoa City, terrorizing everyone in his path. What if he hired Marie to track Nick down? What if she is a plant, sent to make sure Nick stays hooked on the drugs so Matt can finally destroy him once and for all? I would not put anything past Matt at this point. He is pure evil, and he loves playing these twisted games. Okay, let us talk about the elephant in the room. Sharon. How is Sharon going to react to all of this? Because you know she is going to find out. Sharon always finds out. Nick and Sharon have this cosmic, unbreakable bond. Even when they are not together, they are tethered to each other's souls. I have been a massive fan of their pairing for years, and I know exactly how this is going to play out. Sharon is going to be absolutely furious, and she has every single right to be. She has been through hell and back with her bipolar disorder, with Matt Clark terrorizing her, with Mariah's legal and mental crises. And yet, She is the one holding it together. She is the strong one right now. So when she finds out that Nick not only bailed on rehab but is holed up in a motel with some random woman named Marie, oh, the jealousy is going to jump out. The claws are going to come out. I mean, can you imagine the confrontation? Sharon walking into that dingy motel room, seeing Marie sitting on the bed with Nick. Sharon is going to lose her mind. Not just because of the drugs, but because Nick let another woman into his darkest, most vulnerable space. That has always been Sharon's territory. She is the one who saves Nick. She is the one who pulls him back from the ledge. Seeing Marie try to take on that role is going to trigger every single protective, jealous instinct Sharon possesses. And part of me is totally here for it. I want to see Mama Bear Sharon fight for her man. I want to see her rip Marie to shreds verbally. But another part of me is just so exhausted by this endless cycle. Why cannot Nick just get his act together? Why does he always have to rely on the women in his life to clean up his messes? First it was Victoria and Adam trying to save him. Now it is going to be Sharon battling Marie for his soul. Nick needs to save himself for once. Because if he does not, this is going to end in a body bag. Fentanyl is no joke. We already saw him hallucinating eating packets of it at Crimson Lights. We saw him crash his car into a ravine. He has survived so many close calls, but his luck is going to run out eventually. And if Marie is a bad influence, she might be the final nail in his coffin. The writers are playing a very dangerous game with a legacy character here, and I am genuinely scared they might kill him off or damage him beyond repair. So, what is going to happen next week? I predict Marie is going to worm her way into Nick's life. She is going to play the sympathetic listener. She is going to tell him she understands his pain, his pressure of being a Newman, and Nick, being the absolute fool that he is right now, is going to fall for it hook, line and sinker. They are going to start this twisted, trauma-bonded romance in that motel room, completely isolated from the outside world. And, meanwhile, Victor and Nikki will be renewing their vows, completely oblivious to the fact that their son is spiraling into a deadly romance with a stranger. It is going to be the ultimate juxtaposition of Newman family dynamics. The shiny, wealthy, perfect facade on the outside, and the rotting, drug-addicted decay on the inside. It is brilliant writing, but God, it hurts to watch. I just need Sharon to kick down that motel door and drag him out by his ear. Please, writers, give us that at least. Am I the only one who feels this way? I see people on the forums saying they want Nick to embrace his dark side, that he has been the boring good guy for too long. But this is not a dark side. This is self-destruction. There is nothing fun or edgy about watching a father of three lose everything to pills and powders. I want the old Nick back. I want the Nick who ran the underground, who fought for his family, who loved Sharon with everything he had. I am going to keep watching, obviously, because I am completely addicted to this show, but I am going to be complaining the entire time. Let me know if you guys agree with me, because I feel like I am losing my mind over here.